Utah fans, the fall sports and football season is upon us, and we can't wait to get everyone together again tomorrow once again at Rice-Eccles Stadium as Utah kicks off the 2021 football season against Weber State. Good afternoon, I'm Mike Lagashow from Utah Athletics along with Kevin Stoker from U Alumni Relations. And Kevin, it's been a rough year for our fans, but tomorrow night we get the game back together for some football as Utah opens up against Weber State.
It's going to be incredible to have 51,444 fans in that stadium screaming. Utah's picked to finish second in the Pac-12. They were voted 24th in the AP preseason poll.
Right.
It's going to be exciting. It's also the 20th year of the Muss. We've got some fun things planned all year for that. Be on the lookout through the magazine, through website, emails. It'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, Utah picked second in the Pac-12 South this year. Lots of expectations for this Utah team. Fall sports season is underway. Volleyball, soccer already in progress. In fact, we're coming to you today from the youth soccer field, and first-year head coach Hideki Nakada will come by to join me in a little bit. Also, we'll tell you about some things that are new in store for Utah football fans at Rice-Eccles Stadium this year.
We're going to catch up with Chef Pete. We're bringing him back to give some fun recipes that'll make tailgating just that much better.
And also to get you ready for our first game of the year, we'll catch up with the voice of the youth, Bill Riley, and analyst Scott Mitchell for our keys to the game. That's coming up later in the show. But first of all, it's been a long process, years of planning, but we're finally ready to open up the Garff Red Zone at Rice-Eccles Stadium. Demolition of the old Spence Clark building in the south end zone took place a little over a year ago, and that really kicked the building process into high gear. The topping off ceremony and the return of the refurbished Olympic cauldron took place last January. Since then, it's been a steady run to the finish by Lathan Construction and their crews. The $80 million project encloses the south end zone of Rice-Eccles Stadium. It connects the west and east sides for one continuous 360 concourse. The Garff Red Zone will provide brand new premium seating experiences, team locker rooms, game day amenities, while increasing the capacity to 51,444. Also 14 new suites and 44 loge boxes. Well, it's been a big couple of weeks as we conclude this project. We had the ribbon cutting back on August 12th. Here's a look back at that ceremony.
Today is a historic day, not only for the athletic department and our student athletes, but certainly for this university. This is an amazing project, and we are so glad to be here.
The Garff Red Zone will not only benefit our football program, but it will benefit more than 500 student athletes who are annually a part of the greater university athletic family.
As we get the fans back into Rice-Eccles Stadium, some changes have been made to the game day experience. Here's Mallory Monson with more details about the changes.
Hi everyone, I'm Mallory Monson, the Assistant AD for Events here at Utah Athletics, and I'm here to tell you about what to expect at Utah football games this season. A reminder that the clear bag policy is in effect at Rice-Eccles Stadium. This means that no backpacks, purses, or duffels, except for medical and diaper bags, are allowed inside the stadium. This year we're introducing no bag lanes at all of our major entrances. This means that if everything you're bringing fits in your pockets, skip the security screening and go straight to the gate. Parking has changed this year. Aside from a few paid parking and free parking lots, all other lots on game day require a lot-specific parking pass. If you're interested in purchasing a parking pass, contact the Utah Ticket Office. Aside from signature parking lots and the Guardsman tailgating lot, all other lots will only open 5 hours prior to kickoff on game day. Plan your commutes accordingly. Utah Athletics is transitioning to cashless events. This includes purchases for food and beverage, Red Zone campus bookstores, and paid parking lots. Come with your credit cards and mobile payment apps ready. Utah Athletics has transitioned to digital tickets and parking passes. It is extremely important to save your digital tickets into your phone's mobile wallet prior to game day. This is the only way to ensure a smooth, easy entrance into Rice-Eccles Stadium. All of this information can be found on our game day information page at utahutes.com. And as always, be loud, be Ute proud, and go Utes.
Remember, before you leave home for the game day, make sure to download your tickets to your digital wallet. It'll make things easier and make things move quicker at the gates.
All right, Kevin, thank you. We're joined now by first-year head soccer head coach Hideki Nakada at Ute Soccer Field. Hideki, thanks for dropping by.
Mike, thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
We'll talk about your team in a bit, but let's start with kind of your background. You spent the last 7 years at Stanford. Before then, assistant coach at Idaho State, Marquette, Oregon. You've been around a bit, and good run at Stanford, a couple national championships, 5 consecutive Pac-12 titles from 15 to 19, but a chance to be a head coach, a chance to go to Utah. What appealed to you about this job?
I mean, what doesn't? You know, I mean, you look at this place.
Yeah.
Utah, to me, is one of the most beautiful places around the world. And then ability and opportunity to compete at the highest level. And certainly women's soccer, Pac-12, is, in my opinion, is the best in the country. So just combining all those things, I mean, it was just one of those opportunities I just couldn't pass up.
I mean, you've been in the Pac-12 conference, you've been a West Coast guy for a long time. You knew, kind of word of mouth what this program was about.
Sure.
Did you feel like, hey, this is a place where I can come in and really win and get after it when you took this job?
Yeah, no question. I mean, I think you look at, this program over the years. I mean, we've had some incredible success in the past. I think it's just a matter of, can we stay up there?
Right.
Just finding the level of consistency. The level of talent here locally in Utah is great. Now we have to keep those top talent in state, and also being able to bring in, top talents out of state. And I think with what we have to offer here at the U, there's no question in my mind that we can get there and get those players in order for us to be successful long term.
It's always fun to talk to coaches. When they're assistants, they pick up things from this coach and that coach or these players. They kind of collect things as they move throughout their careers. But specifically for you, Hideki, 7 years at Stanford, what are some things you learned during that time that have helped you early on as you look to build this Utah program?
The talent can take you only so far.
Yeah.
I think this past 7-8 years at Stanford, I've been able to work with some incredible student athletes. Ones that are playing and competing at the highest level, but ones that are successful, they're not there because of their talent, because of what they do every day, their work ethic, who they are off the field. It's not always the best and most talented teams that win. So, certainly one of the most, important things I've learned my time at Stanford.
Coaches come in year one, they've got an idea of what they want to do, and sometimes that plan changes throughout their first couple of years as they get used to personnel and recruiting, and they figure out, okay, here's what I can really do with this program. But as you enter year one, some ideas of where you want to take this program the next 2 or 3 years, and sort of what's your identity going to be as you build up Utah soccer?
I want us to play a style of soccer that our players enjoy playing, and our fans enjoy watching. And then obviously at the end of the day, and my players knows this, I like winning, but I absolutely hate losing. So our job is to do everything we can to get a result. Because at the end of the day, if you don't, how you play and the style and all those things don't really matter. So.
Good start. You won your first game here on opening night.
Sure.
Just your impression of this venue, Ute Field. Yeah, some good student turnout, good crowds the first couple of games. Just your thoughts on this venue and the fan support.
Incredible. Especially yesterday, the support we had, the turnout we had, and just the mentality that our players had, and it didn't faze them. I mean, if it fazed anyone, it was me. The Muss showed up in big way. We have a lot of plans for the Muss and supporting system. So I want our environment, our game day experience to be one of the best around the country, and I think it's a good start.
Hideki, let's talk about your team this year a little bit. Last year some injuries with this group and not the best record, but still when they got things going, they knocked off USC, Arizona State, tied a ranked Washington State team. We saw some good results from this group, and a lot of talent back. Just kind of break down our 2021 soccer team for us a little bit.
Yeah, no, I think I talked about a piece of it early on, but one thing that's for sure is we have enough talent to get the job done. I think the piece is what we do with it. I think we have enough qualities, and if anybody watched us play in the past 2 home games, I think people were able to see what we're capable of. Nice thing about this program and this group that we have is that we're more than good enough to be competitive in every match. I don't care who we play. I think it is up to me, up to us staff to prepare our team best we can so that they can get the job done.
Let's talk about a couple of key players. Michaela Christensen, also Eden Jacobson, have both played a lot of soccer for Utah. They both scored goals on opening night. Also, Taliana Kafusi comes from one of the great names in Utah Athletics history. Those three should figure prominently into your team this year. Just talk about those three for us a little bit.
Yeah, Mike, she's a hard worker. Again, talk about, beyond talent, her work ethic, the energy that she brings to the table is incredible. Sometimes she almost works too hard that I have to tell her to, slow things down a little bit. Eden, I've been really, really impressed with things that she's able to do. I think this past 2 home games, and again, I'm really thankful for her to score the first goal for us on the Thursday night, and I think that did a lot for us for the rest of the night. And she's been sort of running the show for us. Tactically she gets the game, and physically she is as strong as it comes. Tali, really excited for her. She is, to me, maybe not there yet, but I'll be really disappointed if she doesn't end up being one of the very best forwards in the country. I think she has a bright future. She may not even know her potential yet, and that's a really exciting thing.
Well, Hideki, great to have you here. We're excited to have you bring a new start to our Utah soccer tradition, and best of luck to you coming up in this fall in 2021.
Mike, thank you so much for having me.
All right, it's Hideki Nakada, first-year head coach of Utah Soccer. Well, the Utah creative staff has been busy covering Utah football fall camp this fall. Here's some highlights from their social content the past couple of weeks.
Snoop D-O-double-G. Yeah. Slim Shady.
Bro, naughty.
Get out.
Coach Whittingham.
John Travolta or Ben Stiller. Those are the two that I've got.
That looks like a rock. Hey, let me know if y'all think I look like Aquaman. Jason Momoa.
Jason Momoa. You can't say that. Simi just said that. Me and Simi must look the same.
We got Corbin Blue from Jump In right here. Hey, I don't even know. My celebrity lookalike is The Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Get out of here.
Maui.
Rock or something?
Shoot. The Rock.
Jackie Chan.
Why is every Wally saying they look like The Rock?
Bradley Cooper.
Yeah.
Back. It's back. Who is the okay? Okay. People say I look like my brother.
Last scrimmage ball camp. Let's get it. Woo! Money gang, money gang.
To get you ready for your pregame, we've got Chef Pete with us. He's going to tell us about some kebabs that are fantastic, easy to do, and will make your tailgate that much better. All right, Chef Pete, thanks for joining us again. What do you have for us today?
Well, really excited. Another virtual huddle, getting ready for the Utes. So today we're going to do a couple of really simple dishes. Just so excited for football, barbecuing, so I'm going to make some kebabs. We're going to do vegetarian ones, beef and chicken. And I've got some different spices here, and I'll tell you a little bit about marinades and that, and the recipes will be on the website. But I'm just too excited to get some cooking done and go Utes.
Can't wait. It'll make any tailgate great, won't it?
That's it. That's it. So what we have here, we have a chicken tender kebab. I like to add a little bit of tomato, it gives it a little bit of extra flavor. This is a simple marinade, fresh Greek oregano with olive oil and a little bit of lime juice, and that's been marinating for 3-4 hours. Then it's just a gentle grill. Then we have the beef kebab. Now this is the primo. This is the quarterback. We have beautiful tender top sirloin onions, bell peppers, a little bit of mushroom on one of them, and then we have olive oil. And then we go into our seasonings, cumin, paprika, cayenne, a little bit of black pepper, white pepper, a little bit of sea salt, and some garlic, brushed with garlic oil, and that's been marinating for 24 hours. And then up here we have, for those who are not into the meat, we've got some really nice vegetarian kebabs, mushrooms, bell peppers, fresh zucchinis from our garden. The beef kebabs, the longer you can marinate them, the better they're going to be. Another little trick is to take the meat skewer and soak it in water. That way they won't burn. And I like to cook these medium rare, and you can obviously, well, have some little dips you can put on the side. And then the chicken, very straightforward. I just like to use the chicken tenders, they're really tender. The chicken's going to take about 12 minutes. The beef, about 15 minutes on a medium heat.
Okay.
Not too hot. And then we have the vegetable kebabs. They're going to take 10 minutes tops. And then we'll be ready to go with the kebabs.
Pete, they look delicious. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Try them out.
Kev, you're welcome.
We'll have all of Chef Pete's recipes up on our website. You can find them at alumni.utah.edu/huddles. It's always one game at a time with the Utes. Coach Whittingham's famous for saying that. But we want to invite all of you alumni and fans back to campus for Homecoming 2021. There's events planned for everybody, whether it's the U5K, the golf tournament, the Legacy of Lowell Service Day. Whatever it is, there's an event for you. There's a list of all the events happening at uhomecoming.com.
Well, one of the casualties of the COVID-19 pandemic was Utah Nakada inducted its Hall of Fame class last fall. That group has now been moved forward to 2021. It will be enshrined on September 1st, honored at the Weber State game the next night. Here's a look at our 2021 Utah Athletics Hall of Fame class.
Our 2021 Utah Athletics Hall of Fame inductees: Lori Baird, All-American and 2008 Conference Player of the Year in volleyball; Anthony Brown, All-American offensive lineman for the 10-2 1994 football team; Casey Child, first team All-American for the 1996 Conference Division champions in baseball; Eddie Johnson, All-American in the early 90s and all-time leading rusher for over 30 years in football; Alex Smith, Heisman Trophy finalist and All-American for 2004 BCS busting football team; Amy Timmel Hogue, 14-year head coach and 1994 Conference Player of the Year in softball.
Well, Kevin, two other former Utes who were going to be in that Hall of Fame class could not make it this year. Andrew Bogut, you might remember the 2005 Consensus National Player of the Year, can't come from Australia. Also, Leilani Mitchell playing in the WNBA, she can't come. Those two will be inducted in the coming years, but should be a great Hall of Fame class anchored by Alex Smith.
As we get ready for the 2021 season opener, as Utah takes on Weber State, here's the voice of the Utes, Bill Riley, and former Ute quarterback Scott Mitchell with our keys to the game.
Back at Rice-Eccles Stadium for the 2021 college football season as Utah kicks things off Thursday night against the Weber State Wildcats. I'm Bill Riley. This is, of course, Utah Great, my broadcast partner, Scott Mitchell. Our first edition of Keys to the Game for the season. And, Scott, I know there's a lot of hope for this season. Utah fans really excited about this stadium, about this team. But to get anywhere they want to go this year, things start with a championship mindset, don't they?
Yeah, it really does. I mean, everyone came back this season. They came back not to just, go through an exercise to win a championship. Coach Whittingham is not getting any younger. This team needs to win now, and you do it like every week. You show up. I don't care who your opponent is. I don't care when it is. You show up during the season, and so it's so important for Utah on Thursday night to get out there and establish that championship mindset right from the first play, the first game this season.
Well, one of the keys for this team this year is going to be on the offensive side of the football. Not necessarily skill positions, not necessarily quarterback, they've settled that, but the offensive line. They bring back so many faces from a year ago. But, Scott, you believe in getting an offensive line that's really a cohesive unit.
Yeah, it's so important, and it's something that kind of starts slow for Utah every year. These guys rely on each other as a unit, and to have that communication and to have that confidence to execute at a high level and come off the ball with some intensity, you've got to be able to be working together. And there's been a lot of injuries, a lot of changes on that offensive line. It's imperative for Utah to have success Thursday night, but also throughout the season. If this offensive line can come out aggressive, play together, both in the run and pass responsibilities, if they can do that, boy, it's going to be a fun offense to watch for Utah this year.
Well, last year there were so many questions coming into the season about the defense, and in particular the secondary, that had to be replaced completely. This year, many of those guys, most of those guys are back. But Scott, in order for this secondary to be good, not just against Weber on Thursday night, but in the Pac-12 season, you think they really have to have that aggressive mindset?
I really do. This is part of, Morgan Scalley defense is an aggressive secondary. They're going to challenge teams. But the front seven for Utah is so good, so solid, that they're going to force people to try to attack Utah on the perimeter with these corners, with these safeties, not a lot of experience. And if they can play aggressive and keep playing aggressive, whether it's in covering the bubble screens that they see a lot and covering tight in man-to-man coverage, but also coming up in run support. If Utah can do this as a secondary on Thursday night and also throughout the season, this can be a special defense like we saw a couple of years ago. This can be an elite defense across the country.
Championship mindset, cohesive offensive line, and a secondary that gets after it. Those are the game keys for Weber State, and really game keys throughout the season. We'll see you here Thursday night as the Wildcats come in, and all season long. For Scott Mitchell, I'm Bill Riley. These are your game keys, and go Utes.
After the 2020 season, it became apparent how much of an impact fans actually have at the stadium and the atmosphere. Throughout the year, we're going to meet a few of our super fans. I was able to catch up with this week's super fan, Roger Maggio.
Roger, thanks for joining us. We're happy to connect with our fans around the country.
Thank you. This is awesome.
Up in Washington, how are you representing the Utes for us?
You know what? I'm doing well. I mean, I see more and more Utah license plate frames out here every week. Still see a lot of BYU license plate on cars out here, but we're doing great out here.
That's good. Oh, just wanted to kind of ask you a couple of questions about kind of your history. Who is your favorite player from the past?
I've been thinking about that. I gotta say he's past, but he's also current. I don't think he's ever going anywhere. Is Britt Covey? I mean, I gotta tell. There's no reason this guy should be a football player. His size, nothing, and yet he's just as tough as nails. I think he kind of represents the whole persona of the Utah football team, which means we've always been scrappy. And yet, guys that you wouldn't think would turn into much just turn out to be phenomenal players. And so I think he's got to be one of my all-time favorite players.
He's such a great guy, such a good addition to the program.
He really is.
So do you have a favorite past game?
I'm sure this is probably everyone's favorite past game, but I'd have to say the All-State Sugar Bowl against Alabama. I was at my brother Bill's place watching it. We had a bunch of friends with us. And as we were driving up there, we were running a little bit late for the game, and the Utes had scored on the way up there. One of my buddies in the car, and I'm, going crazy. And he's looking at me. He's like, be realistic. You guys are going to win this. And so to go into that game that night, to watch what happened, still one of the best memories of my Utah fandom.
That one was so fun.
Yep.
Is there a favorite Utah tradition that you have?
I think my tradition more or less comes because most of the games I see are not home games. So whether I'm down in Pullman or Corvallis or up here at UW, my favorite tradition is at the end of the game when the team comes to the corner with the visitor section and sings, Utah fight song. I absolutely love that. I mean, even when I'm watching games on TV, sometimes you'll catch it at the end, but that's kind of one of my favorite traditions again. And since I'm always away for games, it's just become near and dear to me.
That's cool. It's a great way to connect with the team after. I'm glad they do it.
It is. It definitely is.
What is your favorite highlight as a fan?
I guess it's more highlights. I think back to over the years, a lot of it's been Pac-12. I mean, I had some great memories when I was at school there and BYU rivaling the 34-31 games. But some of my greatest highlights, I just think of just some of the whippings we've given. And it was about 4 or 5 years ago when we played Oregon at Autzen and just put a beat down. Some of the trick plays, I think one was Britton Covey doing the fake punt receive and running back for a touchdown. God, that stands out as still one of the best highlights I can remember.
Well, Roger, you're a true fan. We definitely appreciate your support and representing the Utes up there in Washington.
You got it. Go Utes.
Go Utes.
Our fans really are the best. I wish we could highlight all of them.
Yeah, we'll get to some more later on this fall as we continue our virtual Huddle series. Well, thanks for joining us. This is our first show of the year. We thank also Hideki Nakada for dropping by to talk about Utah soccer. Kevin, can't wait for tomorrow night.
It's going to be exciting.
All right, that will do it for our first show. Thanks again to our crew for joining us and to get you hyped for some Utah football. Here's a little highlight reel to get you amped for tomorrow night's game. Until next time, so long, everybody.